right, Moto Bookie back with another short video. I wanted to give some major props to Brian Deegan. I had an opportunity to just really take a long look at how he has operating the whole Deegan media platform with with the YouTube channel, Instagram, and so on and so forth. And you can clearly see that this is something that is very calculated. He's been developing this media platform for years, and it's been an amazing learning tool, I think, for other parents coming up in the industry, and I'll explain why. He's created this space where he's able to dictate the narrative around Hayden. So, he's not leaving his son's public perception to the mainstream media to develop stories and create storylines that may not actually fit what the actual reality is. And in doing so, he's not only made his son by far the biggest star in the sport. You go to any of his races now, he will have the longest signature line, the longest, autograph line. He has risen to be the biggest star in all of Supercross, and he hasn't even won a race yet. And a lot of that is due to his father being a great businessman. I know I constantly hear that people don't get into this sport, to make money, or they just do it for the love of dirt bikes. But I think his dad has clearly carved out a path to both. The passion for the sport, the ability to make money, and he is by far created the biggest media platform in all of motocross, and it's based around his own son. And I think it's genius. I mean, you got to give the guy a ton of credit. He's been able to show, the inside of the Deegan clan and how they operate and what they do with their children. And at the same time, it basically stalemates the rest of the media because they're not able to create storylines or clickbait or whatever you want to call it based around Hayden, because anybody that's in the sport clearly knows all they have to do is go to the YouTube channel and you get to see it firsthand. And I think it's something that parents should really take a look at if you're trying to develop the next Jet Lawrence, Hayden Deegan, is beginning to build a vlog or a YouTube channel or whatever it may be, so that when your kid does get to the level of the sport where he's going to be under those spotlight, he's going to be in the face of the mainstream media, that you're able to control the narrative. And I think it's purely genius because, for the longest time it was, oh, Hayden Deegan's just some rich kid that, get lucky because his dad's Brian Deegan. That's absolutely not true. And he's showing it. He's showing it with his results. He's showing it with his mannerism. He's very well mannered. You don't see, a cocky kid that, acts like he's too good for anybody. And without his dad, building that media brand, that may be the perception that we get as fans, because someone else is able to create that storyline without actually, knowing if it's factual or not. For example, you look at Jason Anderson. Most people have this perception that, he's just a jerk. He hates the media. He doesn't like to do this. He doesn't like to do that. But we don't know if that's necessarily true. I've seen Jason Anderson on other podcasts, for example, on Gypsy Tales. Seems like a really nice guy. I mean, he seems like he's just fed up with this, machine creating storylines about him that are inaccurate. So he's basically just shut down. He's going to do the bare minimum to satisfy the sponsors and the manufacturers. And I respect that. And you just, you begin to see that we may be getting inaccurate information about these riders and who they truly are. And you look at even BAM TV. I mean, look at Justin Barsha. I mean, most people would think, oh, he's just some wild child dude that takes everybody out and he's a complete jerk. Couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, you watch his vlogs, you watch, how he is with his wife and how lighthearted he is. And if he didn't do that, there's a lot of people as fans that would think he's just some jerk that rides around on the track taking people out, because that's the narrative that's been created about him. So, parents, if you have a chance, maybe you don't have the Deegan last name, or you don't have the money to have all these filmers follow you around, but you can start it on a small level. And as your kid develops in the sport and gains notoriety, you're actually able to, develop the storylines and the perception of your child based around what you want it to be, not what someone else perceives of them. So I just think that Brian Deegan has really done more than just create this YouTube channel. He's actually created a blueprint as to how to get your kid perceived and understood by the fans the way that he wants it to be. And I think it's awesome. And it kind of saw that with how he handled himself at the press conference with the Jordan Smith incident. And of course, the media was just doing everything they could to grind something out of Hayden. And he's just sitting there calm, cool, and collective, because he understands he doesn't need to address this to the media, because his dad has the biggest media platform in the industry. So all he needs to do is continue to be himself, and his dad will create the narrative of what he wants people to see. I mean, it's genius. If you see how Hayden handled himself, I guarantee you in the future, Hayden is not going to be this, jolly be good, let me just run around and do every interview I can, because he doesn't need to, because he knows that the true storyline and the true perception is going to be developed by what his dad puts out. And I gotta say that it's genius. His dad, is a super smart businessman. And I think everything that he's done since Hayden was little is very calculated. I mean, Hayden Deegan will never need an agent. He'll never need somebody digging in his pockets to help, go get him sponsorships or to do any of that. His dad's already done all that work. There's not a single sponsor in the world that needs to be approached by an agent when it comes to Hayden Deegan, because his dad has already created the narrative behind the Hayden Deegan brand, and he's done it the way he wanted to do it. And you get to see his son the way he wants you to see his son, not the way that the media will spin it to maybe not be exactly the truth about him. And I had some time to just listen to what he's done. And I even watched some of the Haley Deegan vlogs, and she's taken the blueprint right from her dad. If you listen to mainstream media, you'd hear, oh, it's another, spoiled rich girl who's been given all this opportunity to drive these cars because she's Haley Deegan. Couldn't be further from the truth. She's done a lot of hard work. She's extremely talented. She's extremely humble and funny and kind-hearted. And if you watch her vlogs or you watch her videos, her dad, once again, has helped give her the blueprint to creating her own narrative and not leaving it up to the media to develop stories about her. And I just think that it's a blueprint, guys. If you have a kid that's coming up in motocross or any type of sport for that matter, why not take the time to just, do what he's doing, which is, it could be as simple as just grabbing a camera and following the kid around yourself until you have the funding or you have the means to do it on a bigger level. And eventually it's going to go ahead and give you the ability to dictate how your child is viewed in the public sector. So, once again, shout out to Brian Deegan, man. Your kid's the biggest star in the sport by far. And he's backing it up. And to all the haters that were basically just trashing this kid, saying that, he's nothing but a spoiled kid that's been spoon fed, couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, the kid's got heaps of talent, super humble kid. And I am just loving the way that he's handling himself in the spotlight with the media, because he knows at the end of the day, his dad is going to control the narrative when it comes to Hayden Deegan. So shout out to the Deegan family, man. I hope that you guys continue to be prosperous in this sport. Continue to make your money, grow your brand, and get all you can while you can.